Joining me now is Akheel Jinabhai, the Managing Partner of Akheel Jinabhai and Associates. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Great. Mr. Jinabhai, could you kindly just introduce yourself and talk about your backstory up until where you currently are within your profession?
Okay, so my name is Akheel Jinabhai. I'm the Managing Partner of Akheel Jinabhai and Associates. So I graduated at the University of Botswana, and immediately after I graduated, I worked for a law firm called Isaac Soloko Attorneys. I did a lot of litigation, family law. And then after that, the next law firm I went to go work for was Phakalane Estates founder, Mr. David Mahang's law firm, Mahang and Company. And that's where I found my love for property law. Mr. Mahang was a great mentor. One of the biggest things I loved about working with him was that the moment he walked into the office, I'd sit with him and he'll explain me through everything in terms of how he started Phakalane Estates and what his vision was. And, I really loved that. So, he's a great mentor of mine. He's a great leader, I think, in my opinion, and that's where. So after Mahang and Company, I started Akheel Jinabhai and Associates in 2006. And at that point in time, I think conveyancing property was predominantly not really an attractive proposition for a lot of lawyers because they felt that it was more a secretarial job rather than an attorney's job. But I saw a niche because I knew that there was a niche in the market, that there was no one looking after property developers. And I just loved property law. Yeah.
Great. So you are predominantly into property law?
Yes. So because of my background in terms of after I graduated, I did a lot of litigation. I did a lot of family litigation, debt collection. That experience, coupled with the experience I gained while I was at Mahang and Company, I took that experience and I started Akheel Jinabhai and Associates. So when I started, it was a full services law firm, but my passion was always property because today you tell me, Akheel, I've got a divorce case and I need you to help me draft a summons for a divorce. It will take me 1 month to do that summons. Yeah. But you come and tell me, Akheel, we're doing a 1 billion pula development and we need agreements in relation to this property transaction. I won't sleep until it's done. Mm-hmm. So I discovered where my passion is, and my love for the law followed my passion.
Great stuff. So as a conveyancer, there are certain aspects where the law changes from time to time. And I think one of the key areas that most property owners, real estate agents, and real estate professionals need to be cognizant of is the recent change in the Transfer Duty Act. It's an area that confuses multiples of people across the country. Could you kindly just touch base on that for a bit?
Okay, so the Transfer Duty Act change I want to be accurate in terms of the date, but I think it was April of 2020. No, you're not. The initial change was March 2020, and the next change happened in 2023. But I stand to be corrected. It's just not coming to my mind right now. But anyway, the main changes were, when in 2020, what had happened was transfer duty was charged at the rate of 5%, and citizens were given the benefit of a 200,000 pula waiver, waiver on the purchase price or the open market value of the property, and 5% thereafter. And then for citizens, it was just a 5% flat fee. When the Transfer Duty Act changed in 2020, citizens were given the benefit of the waiver, which increased from 200,000 pula to 1 million pula. So that was good for citizens. And we're only talking the percentages here. There was a lot of other changes, but just for calculation purposes. And then for non-citizens, transfer duty increased from 5% to 30%. Yeah. So that obviously was a big change in the market. It literally changed the dynamics of selling property, the dynamics of developing and selling, marketing and everything. And then the recent change was that transfer duty now has changed where for citizens, the transfer duty waiver or I would say, yeah, I'll use the word waiver, but the transfer duty waiver was moved on to 1.5 million, and citizens would pay 5% of the open market value of the purchase price above 1.5 million. So just for clarification, citizens now pay the open market value or purchase price less 1.5 million times 5%. That's the formula.
So in essence, if it's 2 million, we're going to pay 5% of the 500,000.
Yes, that's for your citizen buyers. For your non-citizen buyers, you're now looking at non-citizen transfer duty dropped from 30% to 10% for your first 2 million pula and 15% thereafter. So over 2 million pula. So basically, it's still based on the purchase price or open market value, but yeah, 10% and 15%. But one of the best things, in my personal opinion, that has happened was that under the 2020 amendment, there was a lot of confusion around VAT and transfer duty. Yeah. If I pay VAT, then I'm paying VAT at the rate of 14%, so transfer duty now will be charged at 16%. That's because as a non-citizen, right? Yeah. You're paying the difference between VAT and transfer duty because the Transfer Duty Act said that VAT transfer duty would be waived to the extent VAT is charged. But now the new act just clarified that position. If you pay VAT, whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen, you don't pay transfer duty.
That is a lot of clarity. That is a lot of clarity. Thank you so much. So have you seen an escalation in terms of the transfers that you're doing since the new amendment from non-citizens?
Definitely. So remember that transfer duty was not only affecting developers under the 2020 amendment, it was also affecting secondary sale markets. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you bought a property from a developer such as Phakalane Estates, Time Projects, or any developer that's producing a product, Louisville. You would buy that property and you would then, even as a citizen of Botswana, you'd pay the VAT, right? 14%. And then when you're reselling that property as an individual, you are only limited to the citizen market because the non-citizens knew that if I'm buying a property, I have to pay 30% transfer duty. So you would literally attract the non-citizen market. For the developer, the developer's business, the developer's market was limited to citizens because non-citizens would know, even if I'm buying that property and I'm paying VAT, I still have to pay 16% transfer duty. So with this changed, it's now helped the developers in the sense that developers no longer have to worry about an extra tax over and above the VAT, not transfer duty, yes. So you can develop a product, that's your taxable activity, you charge VAT on your product, you sell. The secondary market now is where you buying it and you want a return or you want a profit on your product. So now you've got a choice, and your non-citizen buyer does not feel far off from your citizen buyer, because your non-citizen buyer will say, hold on, I'm buying this product from this person. If I bought it from a developer, I would have paid 14% VAT. But now I'm buying it from you and I'm paying 10% on the first 2 million and I'm paying 15% thereafter. So what am I really losing out? I'm losing out 1% if I never bought this property from a developer. But if you're a citizen, then you get your 1.5 million waiver and then 5% thereafter. So it sort of increased the appetite all round, not only for buyers, but also for people to now start developing, introducing new products to the market, and also for people who do not have the ability to develop, but to buy from developers and sell.
Great. That was very, very insightful. And we've got a lot of speakers, come in and speak at today's conference. And I should say it was just packed and loaded with a lot of content. Yeah. What are your key take-home points from today's conference? So
I think today's conference was brilliant because it answered or it tapped on a lot of relevant topics that are affecting, or let me say relevant topics where a lot of people are looking for answers. there was discussions around the renewal of deed of fixed period state grants. Remember, Botswana turned 50, how many years ago?
7 years ago.
7 years ago. So you can imagine there's a lot of fixed period state grants that are now about to be renewed. So this is a very relevant topic today, right? So that was discussed. Tribal.
Exciting times for conveyancers, I should say.
Yes. So, well, today when we were doing the panel discussion, the lady from the Department of Lands said, you can come to the Department of Lands. I wanted to intervene and say, no, come to your lawyer first and we will do it on your behalf. Yeah. Because remember, renewals can be done in person, by the owner of the property. So yeah, there was a lot of relevant content. Paralegal had the transfer duty and compliance workshop, which was very relevant today because compliance is a big topic today. Transfer duty is also a big topic. It was good. The valuations, everyone is disgruntled by low valuations, high valuations. With valuations is, if I'm looking for a valuation for BRS, I want the lowest. When I want a valuation to finance a property, I want the highest. So it was good. The topics at the real estate conference today was very relevant in terms of where the market is today.
Great stuff. What are your expectations for the real estate conference and Expo for the year 2024?
I think this conference is going to continue to grow because it's targeted at educating and bringing relevant topics to the people. I think there's going to be a lot of buy-in as the conference continues to grow. Developers are going to attend, banks are going to participate more. General people who want to invest in property will say, you know what, let me wait for the real estate conference, let me get a bit of insight in terms of what the current market conditions are, the current trends in the market, and thereafter I'll make my decision in terms of what I want to do with diversifying my portfolio, from investing into property.
Thank you very much. That was a very loaded interview. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, sure. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to you guys, the organizers, Seeff and everyone.